Hey traders, Nick here. Wanted to discuss Overstock. OSTK is the ticker. Um, Great chart, right? This is 1 year daily. Um, I don't cover it because fundamentally speaking, it's not that exciting. Now it's exciting because of a few things that have just happened in the recent history, and it's going to turn out to be a trade not for Overstock, but a quasi trade for Bitcoin. Stick with me. Okay, so a while back, Overstock said something along the lines, we're going to be involved in blockchain slash Bitcoin, whatever they said. They tied themselves to the blockchain trade, which is very tightly tied to Bitcoin. So if you don't know what that is, you probably have heard. I'm going to try to explain it from the very basic level, just to sprinkle the shade of explanation, nothing more, nothing less. This is not an in-depth study of Bitcoin or the blockchain, which, by the way, are different things. Think about it as blockchain is just a way to send money back and forth between entities. Supposedly a lot easier, a lot faster, can be anonymous, lower cost, blah, blah, blah. So it has valid applications. Even regular banks will probably end up using it, if not already. Bitcoin is a form of money that's electronic. Think about it like electronic cash. You know, the cash advantages is that I have it right here. I don't need to tell you what my name is. Here's my money. Take it, type of a deal. So who holds the cash has the value of the cash. And it could be, used for all kinds of different things. And apparently there are thousands of these electronic cash things like Bitcoin. You've heard of other names like Ripple and split off of Bitcoin. So I'm not an expert. I can tell you that Bitcoin is like gold. Gold is valuable because we want it. Bitcoin is valuable because a whole bunch of people want it. If people stop wanting it, it's not going to be valuable. The coin. Blockchain is a process. That's a different story. So anyway, back to the story here. Overstock tied itself, which, by the way, is like a website like Amazon, overstock.com, tied itself to blockchain somehow. I think they said they were making an investment. They made an investment regardless. I'm trading the price action here. I don't know the fundamentals of Overstock, and in fact, tangibly, there's no tangible value from the price to earnings ratio because it's at a loss. But it is one of those trades that is happening right now, and there is a price action that I can trade. So I could use it as a proxy to trading Bitcoin. Now, the problem with trading Bitcoin is you have to open an account with a shady platform that may or may not be working at one point or another. Plus, you have different platforms with different quotes about the coin. You can't jump in and out of it really easily, although some people can. I've seen a guy who actually can do arbitrage where he has developed algorithm that actually looks for differentials between one platform to another, and he can play that. So buy here, sell there type of a deal. But I tried to buy Bitcoin at a few points in time, and some went through, some didn't. I thought I bought it, and then it turns out it didn't happen the next day. So anyway, it's a mess. It's not like a regular stock or ETF or something that I can jump in and out, me personally. So I find it easier to play it through something else. How could I do that? Well, okay. So we're looking at Overstock daily chart. Looks kind of exciting. Not 6 months ago it was $16. Here it is $60. So whoever bought it here, wow, kudos. But can I buy it here? Well, if I consider this point in time from here on out, the regression line says sure, reversion to the mean will be somewhere up here. But it's also has done that before and has given it away. So how am I doing this with Bitcoin? So first of all, let me go and visit Bitcoin chart. So this is Bitcoin daily chart. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because what happened here, it doesn't really matter. So Bitcoin took off like a rocket and went to like 20,000 at some point. And then that was the very, very, very high. And of course, people who probably bought it here are now crying about it because it went down hideously down to 6,500, 7,000, whatever it is. So that's a major crash for somebody that bought it here, and they probably walked away from it. So me not having bought it here or here, so what's going on now? I've shared the opinion that the price range has been tightening, even if I've just considered this zone right here. So they fell here. They try to make a stand. By the way, this was a zone of transition here before, so we're looking at it here. So they tried to make a stand on this big candle right here, the red one. They succeeded for a little bit, and then something happened over here late January, probably, coincided. It started a little before our 2.5 correction in the markets, which is here. So that was the bottom of Bitcoin, coincidentally. All right, I didn't notice that until now. So anyway, so maybe it's a safe haven trade, believe it or not. Can you imagine people running for safety in Bitcoin? Anyway, so this is a zone that I put a rectangle in because it has served as a floor for a little bit, and then a kind of a failure point twice. 1, 2. And here they are. They just failed at it again. Only 2 candles. So still no harm done. Why? Because they're setting higher lows. This one, this one. So after the failure, they got to here, and then the bulls say, let's try again. The bear said, you were here before. I'm going to send you back where you came from. And the bulls say, the bulls succeed better, meaning this was a... what I'm getting to is that this is an inverse head and shoulders technical pattern that has upside potential if they can break the neckline. So the first time the bears prevailed, the second time they didn't do as well, the bears, so the bulls are gaining steam. That's why the higher lows is important. And if this turns out to be another point like this, and if indeed holds that line, meaning that the next sticks are going to be here and then on out, then I'll illustrate it, a little scratch pad. Then the assumption is that the bears are tired. So, they sold off down here, and then here, they got to here, the bear said, I can do it again, and they get to here and they can't. So they do something like this, and they get back to this neckline, and then the bulls are able to just close somewhere here. If that's the case, then technically we should see 14,000 again. Technically. So this is a technical trade just based on Bitcoin. So the question is, how do I do that? How do I participate if I wanted to throw a little bit of money as a lottery ticket on that? So my way is to use a proxy, use something that moves like Bitcoin. And I looked around. I used to do blockchain, but it has its own headlines because there's a company called Riot, actually. I'm sorry. And, I used it successfully a couple of times, and then now it has bad headlines, so I haven't looked at it since, so I walked away from it. But I need to use something else. And what did I find? I found that ostk, which is overstock, see, back to the original chart we were looking at, ties to Bitcoin quite well. And let's put this to the test. I'm going to add Bitcoin as a comparison to the chart. Okay, so this is Bitcoin, and this is ostk. So you can see they move quite closely a lot of the time. And the advantage is that ostk also moves with the stock market. So on a day where Bitcoin is falling, the ostk can actually rise. So it's like twice the good news, because Bitcoin will provide levitation, but won't cause a lot of damage. I've done that with Square. I've done a video on that. Square is kind of the same thing. Only I like the fundamentals of Square over stock for sure. But I have done that video. But this one is more a one-to-one tied. So let me go to smaller denomination than 1 day. These are 360 minute ticks. So every one of these. So instead of a daily view on it. And I can definitely tell. I don't need a mathematical formula that they kind of move together. They diverse. They go in opposite directions. Like here, these green candles here, it's overstock, and then Bitcoin was falling. So that's good. So if I wanted to trade long Bitcoin and I bet on overstock, hey, I'm going to get the good news and some of the bad news eliminated on moves like this. So that would be one way to do it. So how can I do it? Is overstock is liquid enough that I can trade as a stock. I can buy it and sell it, or I can use the options market. And for that, if I don't know options, I can learn options. And by the way, email me if you need more information about that. And as far as how do I do it, it's just like any other stock. the only difference is that this is a lottery ticket, meaning I'm not going to bet my house on it. But if I have speculative money inside of a reasonably fundamental portfolio, I can do that. I can trade Bitcoin via something else. So if they move this closely together, why couldn't I use Overstock in order to trade Bitcoin? So again, the way I started this is by saying, first of all, let's look at Overstock as a proxy to Bitcoin, and then we kind of like explain what Bitcoin is, and then we said, okay, so if I can't trade Bitcoin itself, is Overstock a real proxy? And given looking at this stuff, it is a proxy. I did also do trades on Square that were Bitcoin related, and they succeeded. They worked out. I did them with Riot, and let me put Riot in here. I haven't looked at Riot in a while. So now it's Bitcoin versus Riot. And you can see Riot is down to $10 while it was $40 not too long ago. I haven't participated since the bad news broke out. What's the bad news is there were like accusations of fraud or whatever. I think this is a biomedical company that decided to put blockchain in their name. They actually changed their name to Riot Blockchain. It used to be something else, Pharma. I can't remember. But it's now Riot Blockchain. And then now they're accused that they changed their name only to game the stock market, etc. And so I don't need that extra bad news. So now the tie 1-to-1 works against it. Remember with Overstock, there's an advantage to have Overstock over just pure Bitcoin because of the market. Well, that advantage is a disadvantage here because there's a headline for Riot, the headline risk. So better to use Overstock. Again, this is a speculative idea. It's nothing I would bet my life on. So what's a lotto trade? It's a trade that has a size that won't break my piggy bank and it won't break my heart if I'm wrong. Just like a lottery ticket. I buy a lottery ticket, I invest whatever, $1, $10, whatever. Different people bet different amounts that won't break their heart. You know, a billionaire will probably bet $1,000 without blinking an eye. Somebody that is not a billionaire will probably worry about $50. So it's an amount that won't break my heart, that has a legitimate chance of success, and it will make me really happy if it works out, and it won't break my piggy bank if it doesn't work out. So again, ostk, Overstock, actually has options that I can trade. So instead of risking $60 in order to buy the stock, I can buy calls for much, much cheaper. I can buy debit call spreads for much, much cheaper. I can sell puts and put spreads against it. I wouldn't sell puts naked without being protected of sorts. Or I can do both, you know, sell puts to credit put spreads in order to finance debit call spreads. If this sounds Chinese to you, that's fine. That's what options are all about. Easy concept to grasp. Just email me. We'll get it handled. So if I wanted to email, let's see here, sellspreads@gmail.com. Ooh, I didn't mess it up. So sellspreads@gmail.com is the best email for me. All right, Nick signing out.